All right, like I said, we're going to be talking about the NFL running back situation. And if you know what my team
Sorry.
is, you know that I'm probably in the thickest part of the storm right now with this whole running back situation. But we got a lot of people to talk about, mainly Jonathan Taylor right now. But we're also going to be talking about Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, basically the whole running back market, where it's at right now because it's a hot button issue. And I'll open up to you guys. What are your thoughts on Jonathan Taylor, the Colts, Jimmer saying all sorts of stuff right now? What are your thoughts right now?
Uh,
Okay, all
I, I,
right.
s- I said
Traded,
I said
traded, plays out the season, sits out the season. What are
oh, he's
your
not sitting out this
okay?
season. He's playing out this season.
Yeah.
See, like it's good. We're gonna talk about it later, but running backs have absolutely no leverage whatsoever. So, and in fairness to like one, I think I've said it a couple times too that like I see a lot of old Browns owners and Jim Irsay, the older he gets, that dude is getting crazier and crazier, and it's just gonna do that. Like, how are you gonna piss off your best player? I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I'd be pretty upset if I was Jonathan Taylor, but I just think it's funny.
Okay. What about what he said would piss you off if you're Jonathan Taylor?
The fact that you have a child as an owner, bro. The
I know,
guy is
but
like
like, what
on
did he
Twitter
say?
talking
Like,
trash,
let's get some specifics instead of just generalizing it.
referring to what Jim Irsay said.
Yeah,
Let me. If we're gonna do that, I'll pull up exactly what he said.
exactly. Let's do it. I don't care. I mean, if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right. But we got
That way, I'm not
a
like just putting words
obligation
in.
to tell people what was being said.
Well, the latest thing he said is, if I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor's out of the league, no one's gonna miss us. The league goes on. What was the other one? He was saying that what's the directing the bad faith?
The CBA, like they
Yeah,
already had a deal with the CBA, and the way that they're trying to renegotiate deals is in bad faith.
we have negotiated a CBA that took years of effort and hard work and compromise and good faith by both sides. To say now that a specific player category wants another negotiation after the fact is inappropriate, and some agents are selling bad faith as they're going through and doing a uh, he's doing contract negotiations with Jonathan Taylor because Jonathan Taylor wasn't a first round draft pick, so he doesn't have that 5th-year option. Um, so then JT and him went back and forth on Twitter, and then they put him on, what was it, like physically unable to perform
There's
list.
the NFI list, basically, like injured, outside of like
Football.
outside of football, basically. He is on the physically unable to perform list because he did have an ankle injury last year. He had surgery on it or whatever. That's all legit. But the Colts are saying that he had a back injury sustained outside of football. And if that's true and it limits him on the field, they don't have to pay him, basically. If he doesn't play.
And then there's the fact that he didn't pass his physical as well.
Yeah.
So
So my perspective on that, everything that you laid out, I think is fine outside of just is it the best way to negotiate with your running back? I don't think it's the best way ever, but I don't think what Ursay is saying is wrong either. And I guess I kind of take from Pat McAfee, but
that's what I was going to say. There's good and positives from both sides. I don't like. I think it's the wrong team to be trying to like make this point in stance because the Colts like refuse to pay anybody basically unless it's their own players. So you have your own player and now you're refusing to pay him.
well, okay. So I was actually talking about this with my buddy who he actually lived around Indiana, and his family is a lot more invested in the Colts, so they know a little bit more about it than me sometimes. But the same agent that Jonathan Taylor has is the same agent that Victor Oladipo had when he was with the Pacers when he was trying to get a ton of money from a different team, and then ended up having to go to Miami Heat on like a really small prove it deal. And so the agent kind of has a track record too of not doing the best for his representation. And Jonathan Taylor, before this new agent was all go team, this is my team kind of deal. Now this agent's making him basically hold in the facility and not play until he has a new contract. And so that's where it's like maybe the agent is making too much of a mess in the situation, whereas the Colts, like you said, do like to pay their own players. They overpaid their own offensive line because they played great. They paid Jacoby Brissett more money because he was their starting quarterback. They didn't have to do that. They paid Andrew Luck more money when he retired because they liked Andrew Luck and they didn't have to do that. So if Jonathan Taylor, in my opinion, wanted to go and say, let's go team, I'm sure that they could have worked out a good deal and have something set in stone. And, maybe it's more incentive laden for a running back, but I feel like it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Colts would have wanted to do a deal with Jonathan Taylor.
Well, Mikey, what are you thinking?
Dude, I'm a Patriots fan. We never have good running backs, okay? So I don't know what it's like to have a good one and pay a good one. So
what about Ramondre Stevens' season, baby?
I mean, hey, guess what? He's just going to get the old Damian Harris treatment. He's going to play all right, and we're going to draft one next year. And then once Ramondre needs his deal, he's just going to be out the door.
I'm trying to find Ramondre Stevenson on this this running back list for getting paid. Pierre Strong is getting paid more than him.
There he is, just 59.
Yep, 59. So yeah, Patriots. This is kind of a conversation that Patriots don't even have.
No.
But the thing that I see, what I think is going on, because so Jonathan Taylor, my expectation is the Colts aren't going to trade him. He's eventually going to play, and then he's going out doing whatever after this year. I'm okay with that. I mean, it would suck if we don't get anything in trade value from Jonathan Taylor, because then you can just get another cheap running back that might be just as good kind of deal. But, what I think that's going to happen, and I think a lot of this kind of stems from Austin Eckler and what the Chargers have been doing with running back since Melvin Gordon. And I think that's kind of the big nebulous of what's going on is Austin Eckler.
I think it's a combination of a bunch of... I think it's with Todd Gurley, who was elite, absolutely crazy, and the second he signed his deal was garbage, and his body couldn't stay healthy. And then there was the Le'Veon Bell, and then the Ezekiel Elliott. There was like multiple contracts in a row that just turned really bad, and you're like, okay, so do we pay this elite guy that's been helping us? Because we know in like 2 more years, technically he's probably going to start just dying. Like, he's not going to play well. And JT's already done that. I mean, he missed two or three games his first season as a rookie. He played all of the year before, and then last year he was hurt pretty much all season. So why would you want to go out there and pay a running back that, yeah, he had a crazy year, but that was it. Like, he had one like incredible year. Mm-hmm. Other than that, like, his rookie year was, 1,000-yard rushing season. That's not that crazy in the NFL anymore. That's like 60 yards a game, I think, is what the math is. 65.
It's got to be more than that. I think it's like around 80, 85. But no, I get what you're saying where, like...
Nope, it's 63.
It's 63. Wow, that's crazy.
And that gets you over 1,000. Right, so... It depends on how you look at it. And then you can get running backs. And if you go back to that list, Dylan, go to the top. Let's look at this.
Okay, yeah. Let me pull it up on our video here because I'm not showing it right now. Okay. Let's see here. Let me get my stuff fixed real quick.
Okay. As like a guy, like, is he just a dog? Yeah, he's a really good player, and I want to pay him. Right, that's good. That's Christian McCaffrey, first round pick. Right, worth it. But that's a lot of money. And it's even everybody that's doing that is it's kind of nervous with him because he is injury prone like none other. Alvin Kamara, what a 3rd round pick or 4th round pick? Derek was the first.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb was the second. Aaron Jones was a fourth. Tony Pollard, I don't even know. Josh Jacobs and Saquon were first. James Conner was like a third. Miles Sanders was a second, I believe. Austin Eckler was undrafted. Kareem Hunt was a sixth. Joe Mixon was a second. David Montgomery, I believe, was a second or a third. Like, you look at all these guys, you don't have to spend premium picks to get these running backs that can produce really good numbers for you. So then the running backs have no leverage.
Okay, so let me talk to you about your boy Nick Chubb. So Nick Chubb, how much is he worth to you? Like, if you just like outside of the running back market right now, how important is he to the Browns right now? And not like, I get the offensive line is great, but like, how important is Nick Chubb for your team?
Nick Chubb is the best running back in football.
Okay.
Period. I will fight anybody that like goes argue. If you gave him the touches that anybody else got in the league, because the reason why Nick Chubb is able to play all the time is because they don't give him those ridiculous touches, so he doesn't get hurt. But if you did, he would put up those numbers and some. The dude gets like 5 yards to carry with contact. It's nuts. This guy is the best running back in football. What he's getting paid right now?
Where is his rank with the Browns? Like, best as a Browns player, is he top 3?
5.
Okay. Who do you have above him? Obviously, Myles Garrett.
Watson, Myles Garrett. Probably Nick Chubb or Joel Bitonio. Like Nick Chubb of like talent wise, but I think Joel Bitonio is probably.
So okay, so let's go and take a look.
But, I think Nick Chubb is like the guy.
Yeah,
and I think what he's getting paid is worth it, and his contract's been worth it. But Nick Chubb is what makes him awesome.
Nick Chubb is a top 5 guy, right?
Yeah.
So he's getting paid top 5 as well for the Browns. Like he's deserved that, right? Like that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go look at the Chargers. I would say Austin Eckler deserves to be, what? Is he 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? I don't think he's a top 10 player. J.C. Jackson, I mean, obviously he got brought in. You had to pay him that money if you wanted to get him in. But I don't think he's less important than Corey Linsley. Like, he's good, but, like, I don't think he's that. Austin Johnson, honestly, like, maybe like, my point is Austin Eckler's not getting paid what Austin Eckler's value is to the team because of this market and because owners can say, well, we don't have to pay you. And so that's where I think a lot of this argument is should running backs get, kind of a new deal going on?
No, I don't think so. I understand where it's at, but you've got a guy like Nick Chubb who's getting paid the money he should. And
but he's better than top 10 on his team.
Eckler is 10.
I know, but he's better than 10.
Yeah, I think Justin Herbert's better than 12, but that's where Justin Herbert's at right now.
Well, that's he's already got a new deal. He's going to be the highest paid player in the NFL next year, so he's already taken care of. But
what I'm saying is Austin Eckler was undrafted. He got his money. He's not getting what he thinks he deserves. I think he's worth more value-wise to his team. But next year when he's gone, they can find somebody else that will replace him just fine. That's
just fine as in like they can get the 3 to 4 yards that they need, but I don't think you're going to replace the same type of receiving threat that he is.
No, but you can do it in the aggregate. You can do it with 2 guys. You can do it with 3 guys. And that's what's going to happen.
What's going to happen is someone's going to want to pay Eckler more money, and so it's not going to be the money that he deserves. But like the reason why he's going to go somewhere else is because another team's going to say, "Hey, we can use this guy to boost our numbers." Like I think running backs definitely have like a reason to want something new to go on. I think that's fair.
I mean, I understand. Like, I get why that's fair. Like, I understand that they want more. Everyone will want more and want what they're valued. What I'm saying is there's nothing that they can do about it, unfortunately for them. Because you had somebody that was that elite top 3 position that held out and it crumbled. You had that guy that was top 3 that got his money and it blew back in the owners' faces. So like they are struggling, and we talked about it off thing, but it would need Nick Chubb to get another contract and play really good, and then it would take another couple guys to get a good contract and play their contract out for them to start building up more value.
That's fair. I'm just looking at this. It's crazy looking at the numbers. So the top guys getting paid right now are Derrick Henry, who I think we can all agree deserves that money, right?
He's second best in the league. He's good.
Yeah. So he's the best player, and it's just crazy that like a player like AJ Brown, which AJ Brown's great, but I don't think he's as dominant as Derrick Henry is, and AJ Brown gets paid so much money.
Well, so this is it. Derrick Henry is more dominant than AJ Brown, and I'm glad you brought this up actually, because this will help prove the aspect. What happened to the Titans when they traded AJ Brown? It was like all hell went loose. Like,
same thing
that
when
team struggled because they can't throw the damn
Derrick
ball.
Henry got hurt. That was the same thing.
They had Deontay Foreman that was crazy for a few
but
weeks.
It wasn't even just this year. It was the other year where Derrick Henry wasn't there. They had a slide because Derrick Henry wasn't there.
Right. But they have also had a slide since they got rid of AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And the Eagles added AJ Brown to a Jalen Hurts, and that offense exploded even more.
Yeah, but they also had, Miles Sanders.
But Miles Sanders has been there forever. And they were like, you're good, whatever, get out of here.
Jalen Hurts made a leap. It was his second year as a full-time starter.
Who?
Jalen Hurts.
What about him?
It was his second year as a full-time starter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be AJ Brown, but it could be a whole lot of other different reasons, too.
I think it's the best offensive line of football. That helps a lot, too.
Also that. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously you can see you got Derrick Henry, Cleveland Browns, you got, Nick Chubb. Raiders, Josh Jacobs. That was the other guy that kind of had an interesting franchise tag situation. Saquon Barkley also got this franchise tag, if I remember correctly. Then we got the Chargers, Packers, Cardinals. Cardinals one is kind of crazy to me because who is the Cardinals running back?
James Conner.
Oh yeah, that's who's getting the money, huh? Yep, James Conner's getting $10 million. How's James Conner getting $10 million?
And there you go. There's the point. How is this running back getting this much money and their team sucks?
No, this is James Conner who doesn't deserve this money.
I know. I'm saying, you pay a guy.
No. He never deserved that money, in my opinion.
He had that one year.
When did James Conner ever earn $10 million a year?
That year and a half period where the Cardinals were winning games, the year prior before they had a running back, they could not capitalize in the red zone whatsoever. And then that next season, James Conner came in and they had, they were like 7-0 or 8-0 or whatever, and he was just hawking all goal line touchdowns. Yeah. People were getting all upset in fantasy, but that's because they were able to punch things in because they had a running back. It's positive and negatives. Unfortunately for the running back position, football is turning into a quarterback-driven league where you throw the football. And the core positions are quarterback, tackle, edge, and defensive back, and wide receiver.
Part of what I think is, I think there are some possibilities for us to kind of make this right for the running backs if they want to go and make something different, because otherwise right now what's going to happen is running backs are going to get drafted high, they're going to get to play 4 years, and then they get to go play as if they're a 100th best wide receiver. They're going to get paid like that, like they're not going to get paid good money even though they're top 1 or 2 at their position in their team. Like they're going to get paid less because of all that, right? So I have some interesting ideas for how running backs can get paid. We kind of already talked about them, but for the viewers, if you do have any comments to drop, this is the time to do it. I'm going to share some potential possibilities for the running backs, and then you guys can also weigh in on your opinions on those ideas. That good?
I think Mikey's a little sick.
Mikey's not as energetic as typical, but All right. So here I listed out a few different ideas. So one is you can create a whole running back salary cap outside of the real 53-man salary cap, or I guess it's technically the 51-man salary cap that the NFL has. So in essence, that would be like, say, the running backs in total have a cap of $15 million. And you can put that towards one running back, or you can put that to, a, what do you call it? A committee of running backs.
Next.
Yeah. They've been trying to think about that with like quarterbacks, because quarterbacks are starting to be ridiculous with the cap, and it's struggling for teams.
What if they do like positional
quarterback one? Well, if they do their own positional thing, then you're just turning into the NBA where every Joe Schmo is getting the Supermax deal because that's what's up next, and that's what they can get paid.
Okay. The other one here is
we're forgetting like the main thing. The owners own the league, and they are stingy bastards. They will not give that money, so they'll never make it so the players can make more money. They'll do everything they can to make them make more money than the players are going to make more money.
Keep that thought for later too. Like I like what you're thinking there too. This next one is creating like a league back, whether it's NFLPA or just the NFL in some form. They create a kind of like an add-on to what they already do. Like if a player outperforms his contract, they get a stipend at the end of the year, to kind of balance off their efforts of the year. So basically it'd be like that on steroids for running backs. If they, hit certain numbers, metrics or whatever, they get a bonus that doesn't come out of the team's paycheck. It comes out of the paycheck of either the NFL, NFLPA or whatever, however they negotiate that. So that way, a team who's paying Jonathan Taylor, say, $4 million a year, if Jonathan Taylor goes out and rushes for 1,800 yards like he did in his second year, then, he gets, a $6 million, pay bump or something like that for that year. And he's getting paid $10 million, and that doesn't come out of the Colts' paycheck. So the Colts have an incentive to get Jonathan Taylor all the yards and all the touches and all the catches possible to, make that guy want to stay with the Colts.
So with that saying, it says it doesn't come out of the Colts' paycheck. Meaning, like, it doesn't come out of their salary cap, or does it come out of Jim Irsay's pocket? Because somebody's going to have to pay it. So where does the money come from?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's like a potential negotiation where the NFL and NFLPA come in and say, okay, we got all this revenue for the NFL, and we make a salary cap out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we take X amount of proportion of money or whatever. If, these players hit these different, metrics, then that money comes out of whatever that's negotiated. Pocket. Basically, well, the league's pocket, essentially, rather than a specific team or something like that.
That's okay.
That's what it said.
I like that one more than the positional.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you can make that positional argument for if you do like a quarterback. I think that would solve this problem. Actually, if we do this, if we made not a running back specific, but a quarterback specific salary cap, where the quarterbacks didn't go against your cap dropped a bit. But you could pay quarterbacks what you wanted without having that effect as much.
Okay, so
then every other position can get paid more. So then you're not having to worry about paying your running back as much because you're like, oh, that's not as valuable a position because we can get a good third rounder in here that'll cost a fraction of the price. But
so
instead,
here's another potential possibility with the first option of creating a running back separate cap, right? Say you do like you got $20 million cap on your running back. So no running back essentially is going to make more than $20 million, which I don't think that's even realistic right now outside of Jonathan Taylor, right? Maybe say 25 or whatever. But whatever money is not used towards running backs, say you don't want to pay all your running backs a total of $25 million, you get use like 60% of that, whatever's remaining, to, bolster the rest of your roster. So if you can, get like a Jonathan Taylor, at $15 million, that's going to be more beneficial than, say, if you don't spend that $50 million, it might be closer to $10 million somewhere else, on one or two players. So, I don't know, something like that, where there's if you you have all the space to pay running backs. That doesn't affect your your other roster. But if you happen to not use all your money, either it rolls over to the next years or something like that, or you can take 25% of that and shove that into your your other cap of the rest of the team.
I think the only issue with that, I like the idea, is
it might incentivize.
What?
I was gonna say it might incentivize them to not use that money and just push it to their cap anyways.
Well, that and then the agent part where you're just going to turn into basketball. We know this is the max you can give us. You're giving us this, period. He's a top 5 in his position. You're giving him that.
Yeah,
and then everyone's going to get that.
Then, I mean, you have the James Connors that say, you know what? I'm not going to take $20 million a year. I'll take $12 million, and you get to go and get another $8 million a year running back. So, I mean, yeah, you're gonna get some guys that are gonna say, "Give me the max, give me the max, give me the max." But shouldn't running backs get that if they're leading their team on say 80% of the rushes or something like that?
I'm not saying they don't deserve that money. I'm thinking then there's just gonna be a cap, so then they're gonna push for well, I want more because if so and so is making $25 million and I know I'm better than him, I should also be making more than that, and then that's just gonna keep going up. Just like they went from the max deal to the super max to the mega max, in the NBA, they just keep adding on.
The other thing though is there's 200 running backs that can go in and say I'll play for less.
Mm-hmm.
There's not 200 small forwards that can say, you know what, I'm not going to take the super max or whatever. What I'm saying, the market's a little bit different than the NBA.
I'm genuinely curious how this is going to fix. I personally think it's just going to keep getting worse.
So I got another few options here. So the next one, it's kind of similar to creating the NFL-backed incentives, but it would be a subsidy based on metrics. So what it would be is if Jonathan Taylor proves that he can, take, say 60% of the snaps when he's healthy, he's suited up for a game for 3 years, he's accounted as a tenured running back or whatever, and so his contracts for the rest of his career are going to be subsidized. So he can take less money from a team and still make X amount of money or whatever. But because he's put in the work, the 3 years, to establish himself as a running back in the NFL, his subsidy makes him more valuable because teams don't have to pay out of their own pocket as much. And so, they can still ask for more and more money, right? But it's also a benefit for, the team, because they don't have to hit the top end of that contract, and the other players can also, kind of do that for themselves. So that's another option there too. And then I got a few other kind of more radical ideas for you guys if you want them.
Throw them out there. Shoot, why not?
Oh, yeah. So we kind of talked about this, but one way to kind of create money for running backs specifically, I don't know if it's going to be everything that everyone loves, but allowing running backs to get a advertiser for their jersey. So, you know how on the NBA they have the little shoulder patch for Rocket or GE or something like that. The running backs can say, you know what, we want to get Goodyear tires or something like that. We're going to have Goodyear tires on all of the running backs' jerseys, and Goodyear is going to pay, say $80 million for that. So running backs get more money out of that whole deal or something like that. They kind of get their own little running back pool for advertising money. All the jerseys bought, all the revenue brought from the advertising goes into the running backs making more money altogether, and they can kind of create their own little system of who delegates the money to who based on whatever. So just a way to we're not going to take money away from the NFL and the NFL owners or the teams or whatever. We're going to create a different different revenue stream for the running backs, so that way they can kind of get paid their money.
I know to most fans that's kind of ridiculous, having the sponsors on the jerseys and whatnot. But with Mikey and I, we grew up soccer fans, so that's just second nature. Teams have all over their jerseys, so it'll happen at one point. In the NFL, it'll happen at one point.
Yeah. And then the other one is creating a running back draft, kind of like a supplemental draft where you basically you what's the word? You don't bet, but like you bid on running backs. You bid on running backs with like whatever draft position. So, say the Falcons this year, they want Bijan Robinson. They would say, I want, BJ Robinson. I would give a first round draft pick for him. And they have the highest pick out of everyone that puts in for Bijan Robinson. They get Bijan Robinson for that thing. And then you go on to the next running back, Jahmyr Gibbs or whatever. And then you have, bids on these running backs. So that way they have a whole different drafting system and you can kind of pinpoint what running backs you want, kind of get that out of the way. And then those contracts are geared to be like high output running backs like Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kendre Miller, other running backs like that. They get paid higher at the first part of their contract for their expected production, and they get to go on the market sooner or something like that. I don't know.
We're getting to fantasy football.
Well, yeah. So they do supplemental drafts for, what's his face that went to, I want to say the Cardinals or something like that.
This guy right here. This guy was a supplemental.
Oh, Josh Gordon. Yeah. So Josh Gordon is an example there. The Browns basically bid a pick to get Josh Gordon, and they had to spend that draft capital. That pick was taken away from the Browns in order to get Josh Gordon. Same kind of thing could happen for the running backs. And so to me that's a potential option. I think those last two are a little bit more radical than the rest, but yeah. Anyways, now that we've talked about all of those things, what do you think happens legitimately with Jonathan Taylor, with Austin Eckler? Do you think anything happens, changes in a big way, or is it they just got to play and face the music with the contract that they themselves signed and agreed to and are making millions of dollars for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Gates said earlier, I almost feel bad for them making all that money still. Man, must suck. Get over it.
Yeah,
it's not a running back league anymore. You guys had your time in the early 2000s.
Well, I mean, dude, still now today though, every league until you get to maybe D1 P5 college football, every league is run by running backs. So they've gotten to be the glory boys for every stage of their career until the NFL, where they're still making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, millions of dollars a year.
And you know what? With these NIL deals that are coming out, maybe this will help with that, because they'll already be coming in with money because running backs are so crucial in college football.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll be making more in college.
Yeah.
Good. I see. That's a good point.
But I say get your money when you can. Get every penny that you can. Don't have any loyalties for another team, because no one has the loyalty for running back right now. So do what
Except
you
for
can
the Cleveland Browns and Nick Chubb, baby.
Oh, yeah.